So one of the biggest tools you're going to use is called the Moz Open Site Explorer. The guys at Moz are smart. They're nerds. They're just like at Google. They have a free tool that you're going to use in SEO. It's called a backlink checker and a competition tool. And it's like looking up the skirt of your competition. You're going to be able to use this data along with some other tools to make your site more appealing to Google than your competitors. So let's talk about what are the metrics. So I'm just gonna, since I have this open, I'm gonna take you over to the Site Explorer. So you can take a look at, like, this is again my client site, and I have this cool toolbar in Chrome, which I suggest that you get. I'm gonna put a link down there. It has a lot of these tools and websites readily available for you. I just click Open Site Explorer, and you can see. Let's see here. Wasn't logged in. This is the Open Site Explorer, and you just type in a URL and it gives you all this data about the website. And I know it doesn't make any sense right now, it will in a minute. So basically though, so you can see here see this says domain authority and page authority for this website. Domain authority. Okay, so Google ranks based on trust. It measures trust via something called domain authority. I.e. it's other like how many other sites or of quality and trust are linking to your site, and it's really a popularity contest. Now Moz measures this based on a scale of 0 to 100. So 80% of SEO is getting authority. You must respect my authority. I cannot do the Cartman. Oh, I don't know. Okay, yeah. I used to be able to do a good Cartman, but domain authority again. Moz is basically articulating its own metrics. Nobody knows exactly what Google is doing, but their tools like Moz are really good at approximating it. And you can see my domain authority of my client site is very low, and that's what I've been working on, is to bring that up. 18 is not so good. But you want, your domain authority to be high. And remember how I talked about in the old days, any schmo could link from any site to any site and get ranked. And now Google has completely done away with that. They have rank and measure trust to make sure that the best sites, real sites, are ranked in the results. So now this is my other site, Film School Secrets, and you can see I have a domain authority of 21. And if you look at NYU, they have a domain authority of 89, which is like crazy. There's actually an article here about what domain authority is, and domain authority is logarithmic. And all that means in plain English, I tried explaining it and I stopped because I'm really not that great at math myself. But basically logarithmic means that everything is increasing by powers of 10, so it's easier to grow from a 20 to a 30 than it is from a 70 to an 80. The higher it gets, the much more powerful these numbers are. So the difference between a 21 and an 89 is just huge. So bigger sites like an NYU, a university, a Best Buy, they have more links, more press. They tend to get the higher domain authority. But don't throw in the towel. That's why you're learning this. You can still rank for things. So the next thing is page authority. Now, domain authority is the entire site. For example, nyu.edu. Page authority is the authority of a single page, and that can be any page on the website. They all have different page authorities. Now that could be the home page or an inner page. And each site has hundreds or thousands of pages. Depending on what's on each page, Google determines which page is most relevant to compete for the prize of being number one. And in a minute, that's going to make complete sense. And you can see right here on this example, our domain only has 18, but that page has 31. A lot of that's because we put a lot of links going to that home page, but not other pages on the site. So, and once again, the home page of my blog here has got a page authority of 30. Now my page on NYU only has a page authority of 13. So typically when link building, and I'm going to talk about this later in the next section, you're going to want to build many more links to your homepage to raise the domain authority, and then strategically build links to the inner pages as needed. So, another example, homepage of nyu.edu is 91, and if you go to tisch.nyu.edu, that page is 72, and if you go to their film and TV page, it's only 68. So you see how the page authority keeps going down, the further into the site you get. So what this means is, in practical reality, is that big sites like Best Buy, Huffington Post, Amazon, CNN, they're going to show up top in the search results for many terms. And I'm talking about like nationwide terms. Google likes brands, trust, big names. So many times that can be impossible to compete with. But keyword research is often about knowing which terms are a lost cause and which terms you have a shot at. And it depends on the term. And that's the big thing with keyword analysis. Again, that's what you're going to get paid for. Here's an example. Okay, take Samsung 4K TVs. Now, I just want to note something. This example is much more competitive, likely, than what you're going to be working on. You'll probably be working on local business, niche markets. But as you can imagine, it's highly competitive e-commerce term. And as you'd expect, Best Buy, Samsung, and Amazon ruled the results. And who knows, someday you may end up working for a company like this. I had a friend who worked for like eHarmony, and they're going after dating keywords. So it's good to know all this. So if you Google Samsung 4K TV, what shows up at the top? Ads by Samsung and Best Buy, and then Samsung, Best Buy. And you've got Samsung's homepage and Best Buy's, an actual Samsung TV for sale, an inner page of theirs. Now, if you search Samsung 4K TV review, Best Buy isn't even there. It's just these other sites. Now, if we actually look up these sites like that one here, what was it, number 2, Rtingz, RTINGZ.com, that only has a domain authority of 35, and Best Buy's is 88, so that's much less. So the page with the 34 ranking outranks Best Buy because Google knows that site is more relevant to the term being searched. It's a review site that can help people decide what to buy versus a place that's just selling. It also lets me know, hey, guess what? I can rank for this term too if I put in the work, because getting to a domain authority of 35 it takes work, but it's not impossible like an 88. So for that search, Best Buy does turn up on page 2 with a specific TV. So the actual, Samsung 4K. And that's just because, again, Best Buy has so much authority, these little inner pages of theirs that probably haven't been optimized at all, still do show up. But it's on page 2, so people aren't really seeing it that much. Even though that page is like bestbuy.com / with this long ass URL, it has a page authority of 1, even though the domain is ranked high. Realistically, it's more than that because it is on this trusted domain. Because Google's basically saying, hey, look, we get you, you're a trusted domain, but for this term, we're putting you back on the second page because there's a relevant, smaller site that's a better fit for the searcher. So this is the game. It's part of the game. Is finding those terms that are good but not as competitive and making your site a more relevant, desirable result for Google versus other sites. Now, usually you'll not be competing against Best Buy and Sony, but it's the same principle. And sometimes you might be. I'm going to show you. I've ranked against much more authoritative sites. I'll show you that in the next section. So the other thing is you can look for specific searches, which we call long tail searches, and we're going to be getting into that a lot later. So there's a search term which is Samsung 4K 55 inch. That gets 720 searches a month. And this little website with a domain authority of 34 is in between all these heavy hitters and huge national brands because it has decent authority and it's more relevant on the SEO side of things. So look, you got Best Buy, Target, Samsung, Costco, Amazon. Bing! Little random site. Who the hell are these people? And then Walmart. So to get sandwiched in here, they did some, that's what SEO is all about. It's basically saying this isn't some special brand. It's not a big company. It's some random I don't know who it is, and you don't know who it is, but I'm saying you don't have to be in Amazon to rank for all these terms. I'm going to get more in depth to this in the next video, but first, quickly, here's a more likely example. Let's say you're working for a dentist in Tennessee, and you research dentist, Franklin, Tennessee. That's the main term, and it has decent volume for a local search, 210 searches, and there may be some long tail terms, but frankly, most people are going to be typing in dentist. So now let's check out the competition. So don't worry about the maps just yet. You got FranklinDentalCare.com and Aspen Grove Dental right there. Those are the top two. And if I look them up, I say, hey, look, domain authority is 18 and page authority is 31. Domain authority is 12 and 25. So 18, 12, 25. This is why local is a good client and often the most common SEO clients. Says there's many more local businesses than there are those big, huge corporations. They all need help with SEO, and they're much more doable. So now that you get domain authority and page authority plays a huge role in rankings on Google and analysis. But it's a real pain to go into each website and open it in Open Site Explorer and check it, and then you're going to do that for the top 4 results or 10 results. So now you are ready to be introduced to my 2 favorite tools that make all of this much, much, much easier. Now, one is free and one costs about $100, which is worth it. I use that one, but I'm going to show you both, so check them out. So the first tool is Traffic Travis. It's completely free software, and if you enter a keyword, it's going to analyze the top 10 Google results. They're all the competitive metrics, even stuff we haven't talked about yet. And it also will give you a grade on the keyword difficulty. And the first section, we're going to use this tool. And you can see here, I just typed it in, and I can actually, I'll show you that if you get Traffic Travis, you just go over to SEO competition, and I can type in, like we were just looking at dentist, Franklin, TN. I click OK. I click fetch. And I wait. So that took a couple minutes. So this is a free tool, and it right off the bat says it's easy. Gives you some general metrics. But the reason I don't really like Traffic Travis is because it is a bit clunky and slow. I'm gonna show you how to actually look at the details. I have to export this file. And I have to save it. I have to name it. And then I have to open it. And then I have to open it. So it's kind of a pain in the butt to use. And as you can see, this is a bit clunky. I'm using Internet Explorer. There we go. But now you can see those are our top 2 results, and it shows you the page authority, 30, 24, 25, 27. And then these things are all X's, and we'll get into that. That's when we talk about on-site optimization in a bit. But looking at these numbers, and I'm going to go over these numbers again in the rest of the video, you can see a layout of your competition. Now, the other tool that I really like using, where is it here? So what I like using is Longtail Pro. It's like $97 plus $27 a month. We're going to talk. I'm using this tool exclusively in the keyword analysis video. It's just faster. It generates long tail keyword ideas, and it does more analysis easier. So I'll just show you the same. I know I paused the video. If I type in dentist Franklin, Tennessee here, let's see how long it takes. So it loads up all the results, and then you can see it starts putting in all this data right here. So to me, this is a much faster and more powerful solution, and it also gives you this thing here, which is it gives you a lot of numbers, keyword competitiveness, and then it gives you this number over here. Again, I'll talk about this more, but this is a scale from 0 to 100 in terms of difficulty, and anything under 35 is really rankable, and it's all done automatically for you. You don't really have to do any calculations yourself, and I like that. So in this case, it's basically saying it's very similar data to Traffic Travis, but you can see that in general these numbers are, it is under 35, and these numbers are, they're all much more doable than if you were competing for, let's see, I actually think I even put in, I did a bunch of, you know, you can see these ones that have the higher, like if you look at 4K TV, you know, keyword competitiveness, page authority, 68, 68, 65, 81. These numbers are way too high. You're never going to rank for the term like 4K TV. And that's what's so great about this tool, is that these numbers really make it very easy for you to determine what are the keywords that you should be determining. And if you use this tool, it does the work for you. You look really smart, and this is what you're going to be using as an SEO specialist. So these tools both do a lot of work for you. They take the data from Moz, backlinks, and the other factors. Yeah, they boil it down. I like Longtail. It gives you that number. I think they do a better job of keeping up with Google. The point is, it saves you from having to manually compile these numbers, and with a few clicks, you can gauge a keyword difficulty and know what to do.